You have the knowledge, you read all these books, you have all this information, but the real power in wisdom is applying it to your own life.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wisdom is Better Than Strength podcast. This is our first episode, and today we're going to discuss what is wisdom. Come in and enjoy this conversation with us. Yeah. Wow, I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah,
finally,
since 4th of September.
Oh, your mic.
Oh, yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, oh my goodness, I totally.
Yeah.
It's the first episode, no problem.
So,
We still have to learn so much.
About
Yeah.
podcasting and everything. But hey,
Yeah.
it's our first podcast, and
We finally made it.
yes, it's
Finally.
gonna be great.
Yes.
After a few weeks, we thought about it since a while now. We've been saying it, and today is the day.
It's really
Yeah.
happening.
But how did it really come, to be? Like, it was your idea, right?
Well, I think it was in the summer vacation. I was like, I would love to start a podcast. Like, why not? And then I wrote it
Yeah.
down. I came into your room because he's my
Yeah.
brother. So I was like, okay, I'm going to tell my brother. I wrote it down on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And I said, in September, we're going to start a podcast. Then I saw my niece. I was like, hey, how did we actually came on that topic? Do you remember?
I think I was here, and we were saying it. I started. We were talking about my business or something like that.
Oh,
and we were
maybe.
talking
Oh,
about-
are they hearing
Oh
me?
yeah. I'm really not used to this.
Yeah. The,
Yeah, we were
the mic is your
discussing-
best friend right now.
We were discussing my business, and then we were suddenly, from one thing came another. We started talking about this podcast idea, and I didn't
Yeah.
even know that you had this idea of a podcast, because when we talked about it, after a while you came, you said, "Hey, do you know that this is something I actually wrote down that by
Yeah.
September I will
was so
do
excited.
this." So that's actually how I found out that you were even thinking about a podcast, because
Mhm.
yeah, we just came up with. It just came to be like
Yeah.
that's natural. And then thinking about also how we're gonna explain the name later, but how we came about our name, as you can already see by the title,
Yeah.
is that we were looking for names. We had so many things, because do you even remember the first things that we actually had as
Oh,
name? It
which-
was something with talk, I think.
Yes. Like small talk. I'm not sure what we had. Like
Something like that.
I don't remember. I'm
I
gonna be
came in
very
later,
honest.
right? I
Yes,
came in later.
you came in last. Like you were in
And
the
then
kitchen
you-
and we were discussing
Yeah.
this. We were like, "Hey, Jonathan, you want to join us?" And you were
Yeah.
like, "Yeah," while doing the dishes. Like it was like that.
Was it like that?
Yes, you were busy doing something. I remember.
I think I was not really sure if I wanted to join, but after seeing other things that I could do in the podcast, I thought, maybe.
Why not?
Why not? Why not just try something new? You know?
Yeah, and we all learned something from it.
Not
Yeah.
to eat like this. So, especially, one thing I definitely love about this is
Yeah.
our name. Because it's kind of the name "Wisdom is Better Than Strength."
Yeah, how
It
did we
kinda-
came up with the name?
Yeah, the name. So after we were talking about different names, like Lady Stock, I think.
Lady
We start
Stock.
with talk, because Jonathan wasn't in it yet. So we
Youth
had this
stock
name,
or something
Youth
like
Talk,
that. Yeah.
And then suddenly we were like, okay, let's just look for a name. And we started with the scriptures. We went to the scriptures and thinking, you were looking, I was looking, and this and that.
Yeah.
And suddenly, from the scriptures, we saw this from Ecclesiastes 19 verse 6.
Okay.
Oh, I don't
And it said, wisdom is better than strength.
Wow.
Yeah.
Though a poor man's wisdom, though a poor man's knowledge is despised.
Yes.
That's what it actually says.
Uh-huh.
And actually, from there, we came up with this name. And we're like, first thing we saw it was wisdom is better than strength. And we're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
we
that's
discussed
the
that.
name.
That's the name. Yeah, that's what
It
we've
was
been
just-
looking for.
Within an hour, I think.
Yeah.
We discussed starting a podcast and we're like, okay, a name. And then after that, we started to think about what are we going to talk about actually?
Indeed.
Because we don't know. We don't know. We were like, we want to talk, have a podcast, but about what?
Yeah, but the best thing is once we found the name, it kind of made sense. Because once you have the name, and it kind of give the feel already about what we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wisdom and who are we? What do we want from this?
Yeah.
And of course, we hope to really inspire other people that are listening to the podcast.
Yes, you
Um,
guys.
the things that we are giving to them, the knowledge, the information that we have, our own
Yeah.
experiences, and
Yeah.
just become more knowledgeable about different subjects.
Yeah.
So guys, a little about us. We are my name is Suraisca
My name is Gabriëlle.
and his name is
Oh, I'm Jonathan.
yes. So why we started this this podcast is actually we are young adults, as you can see. We are
Yes.
young adults.
How old are you?
I am
I think they would like to know.
yeah, well, I'm 27, okay? This year I turned 27.
Yeah.
And you are?
I am 23 right now at the moment. Jonathan, are you still like...
Oh yeah, this is my twin sister, and I'm also 23. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I said, we are young adults on our journey looking for wisdom and searching for wisdom. As you can
Yes.
see, we are definitely in a generation and a time. I feel like all generations and times
They
need
all
wisdom. We
need wisdom, yes.
you know. And so that's what we're doing, and we'd love for you to join us on our search for wisdom. So if this is
Yes.
something you would like to just join us,
Continue.
actually, because we discuss different topics. Our topics are also child friendly, if I should say it like that. So yeah,
Child friendly.
yeah.
What do you mean with that?
Like
We don't talk
certain
about
age,
trash.
It's not really X-rated or something like that. you know?
X-rated talk.
Yeah. So, and if we'd ever have some conversation when it comes to certain things, we will definitely mention it from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, there's different things we can talk about and different knowledge. Yeah.
A lot
That's
of
so
things we can
true.
talk about.
Yep.
By the way, we are from the Netherlands, if you can tell by our accent. Yes, we are from the Netherlands, so our English is not the best. She has very good English, but she practices... So like Suraisca has very good English.
Yeah.
It's very good in English
Oh.
because she speaks it a lot throughout the day, and I only speak it when a tourist is.
It's not
asking me
our
to.
native language, It's just what we grow up with, listening to music,
Movies.
movies,
Yeah.
podcasts, TV.
Yeah.
So-
That's how we learned English.
Yeah, because I also, to be honest, maybe I do have it a little bit, but because I speak it a lot more. But I wouldn't consider myself somebody who's really good at it, because like they said, I actually learned English from TV.
Yeah.
I just watched the television and I read the translation, and this is how I actually learned it. And I met my husband, and my husband also speak English all the time. So
Yeah.
of course we are when you kind of deal with it daily, it's going to be a bit better. But there are certain words, for example, that I may not know and I won't know because I didn't really study English at any
No.
college or something like that.
That's no big problem. I think if they get the message, it's fine.
that's true.
It's okay. Like, we're not perfect. Nobody is.
Yeah.
But back to the topic of wisdom,
Yes.
because how would you define wisdom? What is it? What does it mean to you?
Wisdom. Well, actually, to me, wisdom is a subject that have been actually generations have always searched it and not really being able to define it. Because wisdom is so broad, if you think about it. I actually searched for the definition for wisdom, what it is, while doing this topic.
Yeah.
And what I actually found is from the Cambridge Dictionary, and I will read a bit about it if you don't mind. So, how they defined wisdom. So I'll say definition of wisdom. Wisdom is the ability to use your knowledge and experience to make good decision. So according to the Cambridge Dictionary, that's what wisdom is defined. Though other sources also say different things. And it's amazing, because I'll say culture-wise, it's just such a broad thing.
Yeah.
Such a broad subject.
Yeah.
Different culture have different definition of what wisdom is.
Oh,
How
really?
would like your culture, like the Dutch culture, how would they describe wisdom?
How would they describe
Or,
wisdom?
yeah.
I won't speak for all Dutch people, of course, but I
No,
will
you
speak
shouldn't.
for how I personally. Let me just begin there.
Yeah,
How
maybe that's better.
Yeah, how I define wisdom. Well, wisdom for me is actually having knowledge already just simple things in life, experiences, and besides that, being able to foresee things. So every decision that you're making that may not be wise in people's eyes or even your eyes, you're going to commit a crime, for example. Wisdom is already there to warn you this is the consequences. So by not doing it, realizing that, okay, after I commit this is the consequences. Somehow you may think, oh, it's not going to happen, but we all know that you always be found out anyway. So wisdom is something for me in that sense. When it comes from a secular point, I will say is already foreseeing the consequences of your action and just stop that kind of your conscience, that warning signs that you get already, and it prevents you from doing it.
Mistakes,
so that's all.
It's
that's
more
for
in
me,
a moral sense, actually.
That's for me. It's that's for me is a form of wisdom. And wisdom is also the ability to kind of make decisions for your future. Like I already said, you foresee
so
things.
True. I love that part.
Like going to thinking of education, thinking of should I do it, because a lot
looking
of us
ahead.
Just look, it's like foreseeing things and just handling to kind of get the future you would want, you would desire. So that is actually a little bit for me. I hope I explain it a bit on a way that you can understand, but for me that's actually wisdom.
Pretty good.
Wisdom.
And it is like wisdom cannot exist without having some knowledge.
No, that's true.
I think you need it. You
need both
knowledge. But could you describe the difference between like knowledge and wisdom?
Wisdom is let's say knowledge is information. It is just information.
That's true.
But it becomes how you say it, it becomes really relevant and useful if you apply it. If you don't apply it, it keeps being knowledge. It's useless. But I believe wisdom is then, for my what I think that wisdom is applying of what you know in the right way, so you can make the right decisions at the right times.
So would you consider somebody who, like, you have people who know a lot but they don't act upon it? How would you consider them? Like, they might be very knowledgeable, but are they then wise?
Well, actually, the funny thing is I did the research of what is wisdom, because for me,
you're prepared,
what
girl.
is wisdom, and I'm thinking, okay, things that kind of add to that. Then you have what is wisdom, you have what is intelligence, you have what is knowledge, and what is understanding. Because for me, somehow four of them are actually round up in one.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like you're saying, considering somebody, they have I would
knowledge.
say what you're saying, knowledge or something like that.
Yeah, they just know a lot about everything.
They know a lot. Then I will consider somebody like that maybe more intelligent person. Like, for example, I did do research on what intelligence is, the definition. For me, you know it already, but for certain subjects, I like to go a bit deeper. And then you have what is intelligence? The ability to learn, understand, and make judgments or have opinions that are based on reason. That's intelligence.
Okay.
Wow,
and a lot of people can learn.
Can you repeat that? Like, that's a lot.
So what is intelligence is also from the Cambridge Dictionary. So that's my source that I use. It says intelligence is defined as the ability to learn, understand, and make judgments or have opinions that are based on reason. So for me, that basically says that knowledge, you have a lot of people that are knowledgeable, professors, they go to university, a lot of people have a lot of knowledge about a certain subject, like you study a certain subject, name it
science
that. But to have the wisdom, like, okay, this is going much
maybe business is a better thing to speak about.
I like what you said about first you have knowledge, then you have understanding. Because you can have information, but if you don't understand what you have learned, it's still not useful. For example, I've been in a classroom studying engineering, and you sit there, and in the classroom you get a lot of information. You write down all the information you have. You go home, you look at the paper, you think, what is all of this?
All formulas and stuff like that.
Because you don't really understand it. And it is all about having the knowledge, but then understanding it.
That's true.
comprehension, and when you understand it, you can apply it, and then it becomes wisdom.
Yeah.
Right?
Nice.
Yeah.
You know, I want to come back to what you were saying. For example, you have a teacher in business and they know a lot. For example, you can have a teacher who has the knowledge about entrepreneurship, just saying something, but he himself has never ever started a business.
Yeah.
Like that's always so a weird situation in my opinion, because you know everything. Why don't you do something with it?
Wow.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
That's so sad. It's actually a loss of you like what you know or
but not a lot of people, you know. You have people like that. They have the knowledge. They can teach as well.
Yeah.
But they just it's either, you know, they don't want it. They don't desire to go that path.
Yeah.
And what they only want is actually to teach because they love it. It can be, you know, a lot of people choose.
It's
to
just
not
their
do something.
passion.
They
like
passion to learn
give
about
information.
it. Get information about it and teach others who do have interest in that part.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, I'll teach you this. I know about this. I'll teach you this, and then you go and pursue that. Though I love the teaching part, and that's what I'm pursuing. So,
but
you know,
but from who do you rather learn? Somebody who knows a lot, or somebody who's wise?
Somebody who is wise, because like I define wisdom as experience.
Yes.
Life lessons that you've learned, and like in the early days, people still used to like, I'm not sure how do you say that in English, but just years back, the millennials back, the people were just sitting in circles together and old people would share their stories. And like in the story, there would be a certain lesson that the people would learn. And you still have it like in certain stories, or you name it, children's stories. And it's like the baseline of the story, that is wisdom, and it's brought over from generation to generation to generation, and it can help you to like prevent making certain mistakes that you don't have to make because somebody before you already learned from it, you know. So to me, wisdom is just lessons, life lessons.
But is somebody else's experience, is that always is it good to base your decisions upon somebody else's experience?
I don't think it's the experience itself, but it's more the lesson that you learn out of the experience. That is wisdom.
Yeah, because somebody can, for example, invest in stocks, and he feels at it. He's very bad at it, and he loses all his money or her money. And then that woman or man comes to you and says, investing in stocks, you should not do that. It's not a good thing to do.
No.
Is that wisdom? Because a lot of people also were very successful in investing and trading in stocks.
I would then actually ask for the like, why? Why is it not a good thing to do? And then when you tell me why or the lesson that you learned from it, then I can base my, I don't know, you have to be very, I don't know, you have to be very wise in taking people their experiences.
I think that is somebody's
opinion.
Opinion and the information that person has about the subject.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it is always a wise thing to follow that advice.
Yeah, I don't say follow advice, but you can learn from people their life mistakes, life lessons. It's more the life lesson than, for example, what you said about stocks. I would never do that. Like, that's such an opinion.
Yeah, I would just personally bring it a bit closer to home.
Yeah.
Like, just see your parents. You know, a lot of your parents already, they've been through a lot. They live longer than you.
Yeah.
So they've actually been through a lot of experience. And like I said already, the definition of wisdom is like is the ability to use your knowledge and experience to make good decision. And I always think about your parents giving you warning because they foresee things that you don't make that you don't see. You know, they've been through certain things that they can just see and say, okay, this and that. And so their life lessons you can learn a lot from it. So before I would think even further, I would just base it closer to home. Your parents are already telling you, don't do this, because they can foresee that this is happening.
True.
So actually, that's just gaining wisdom from them. And like you were saying, people from generational past, they were coming together and sitting and then telling a story. And from that story came some, the point that they're actually trying to make is giving you wisdom. I remember these things also, for example, sitting with my grandma. And my grandma would also tell stories. And she would always talk about things, and then at the end of it, the moral would come out.
Yeah.
So the story was really fun. You're sitting as a child, and then you're just listening, because children love those stories.
Of course.
But then the moral of the story, once you would be like, okay, it just sounds really simple at the end, at the beginning, and then you come to the end, you're thinking, whoa, okay. And now I'm thinking back at those things, and I'm like, okay, these are the things that she was actually talking about. So I kind of like that. So every time I think of that, learn from life lessons, learn from people's experiences. I would say somebody who would give me a wise decision, would kind of try to impart something like that to me, wisdom, trying to impart wisdom to me. They will also give me the choice. They will tell me, personally, I would think, they will tell me the consequences of what they see, but they will also leave the choices to me. Like, exactly. I see this, I'm warning you about this. So if I'm going to bring it back to business and stocks, then I'll say, okay, they will tell me personally, I've been through this, but that doesn't have to be that you're going to go through that. Exactly. Because I started my business.
It's the way you bring it.
Yeah, I started my business, and a lot of people were like, oh, but I did this before, and I've been scammed, I've been this, I've been that. Okay, it can be your experience, but that doesn't have to be mine. You know, at the end of it all, is that we all go through things. You've been through things, but you impart your knowledge, your wisdom, you impart to somebody else that they can learn from that. But at the end of it, that person is still an individual person. They will always make their own decision at the end. You know, I will say, when somebody tells you something is great, if your parents talk to you, listen to them and learn from it. When they foresee things and then you start seeing the sign, I'll say also take that and run with it. But besides that, I'll say, don't be afraid to also look at your life as an individual person, that you also are going through your journey. And because something may not have worked for somebody, that doesn't mean it will not work for you.
Yeah, true that.
Right? So everything somebody give you, I'll say, take the good from it. Always take the good from it. You know,
always.
No matter who that person may be, whom you considered, oh, that person is not smart enough, because they may say something that really makes sense. No matter who it is, we can learn from each and every one.
That's so true.
So yeah.
Where do you find wisdom? Where do you search for it? Where do you find it? Yeah. Can you explain, maybe, Jonathan?
Where you get wisdom from? Just by reading books.
Like you personally, right?
Yeah. Me personally, I read a lot of books. I've actually a book club.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I have a book club.
Oh, I didn't know.
Just with
we are not invited.
No, you are not.
Why?
I heard about that.
It is a man-only book club.
Oh, I thought an Oprah kind of thing.
No.
Discrimination against women.
Yes, exactly. Man only. No. We just started with some friends, and I think you can join, but it is just with some old friends of mine, and we are reading some books just about life, just more self-help kind of books, and books about finances, and improving yourself. Also, I got a lot of wisdom from my Bible. It's
actually,
like my main source of wisdom.
Sorry, you get knowledge and then you apply it and then it's wisdom. In your case, right?
Yes.
So you get your knowledge from.
Yeah, I got my knowledge.
How does the wisdom part like?
The wisdom comes when you are really implement it in your life. You know, it is the books that make me like invest in stocks, or that knowledge that I have, I go out and apply to my own life. You know, it's all about the principles I learn, and I use them.
That's good.
Eventually in my own life.
That's really good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you?
Where do I search for wisdom?
Yes, where do you get it from?
Like, first of all, I like to reflect and just think about what actually happened, you know, and then from that reflection, you learn certain things, and then I change. This is a bit. It's. I need an example. Let me think. But it's actually just reflection, and then you see certain things that you can do differently. And I like to look ahead in life, to just foresee certain problems, or we're young, we got so much going on. We got school, we got work, we got relationships, we got so many choices that we need to make. And some of those like questions in my mind, I try to already answer by just, I don't know, searching for information and looking ahead.
Yeah. But that's really good. It's like knowledge of experience, so kind of foresee things. So.
Yes, really I love that part.
Yeah.
And you were just speaking about your grandmother, right?
Yeah.
How she was telling the story.
So, definitely. I learned wisdom. For me, I get wisdom definitely by seeing other people's life experiences. So, like I said, it's doesn't have to be that it will happen to me, that we all have the same journey and we'll all go through the same thing. But I learned a lot from others. And for me, the scriptures. So for me, for those who know or don't know, we're Christians. I'm a Christian. And for me, definitely the main source where I get it from is the Bible. And what I said already, learning from other people's experiences. When I read the scriptures, when I read the Bible, you can get so many experience from other people. You kind of learn a lot from other people, their experiences, because in the Bible it's just full with stories, with experiences of
I love
people.
proverbs.
So definitely. And proverb for me is one of my favorites, especially Proverbs 1-4. I just love it.
The beginning.
It just says, the beginning. It only speaks about wisdom.
Wow.
I just love it.
Where to find it.
That wisdom is calling out on the street, that we should make wisdom our best friend, if we should say it, your first love, you gotta make it.
Treat it like it.
Yeah, treat it like it, yeah, and indeed. And then you come back to the scriptures where it says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
True.
So you still find it. You make wisdom your best friend. You make her as the love of your life. And then you find out that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. For me, then you see, again, like, make the Lord the source of your life. And then for me, that's personally my choice. That's what I go for. And and I learned definitely from life experiences from my sisters, from my mother, from people around me generally, people that are just close to me. Like, okay, they did this happened, and I learned a lot from them. And I thank God that definitely that He put these people in my life, and that He put all of you in my life, because I can learn a lot.
Yes.
And also foresee things. I also read books. I also love to read books, so I also do that. I listen to podcasts.
You know what would be cool? Like, we have an IQ meter, like, no, not meter, but you have like a score for your IQ.
Yes.
And how cool would it be if there would be a wisdom test? How wise are you really, you know?
Because you have intelligence meter. That's actually IQ, the intelligence meter. But the wisdom meter, not a lot of people.
Is there one?
There's not.
We can check it out.
I'd say
maybe there can be. I don't know, but that would be cool.
That would be really cool, actually.
Yeah.
But too bad. If you ever know about that, let us know.
Yes, let us know. Email us.
Yeah, put it in the description.
Yeah, we would love to know a wisdom test. How wise are we really?
Really?
So your intelligence, but are you really wise? No.
That's so true.
Yeah, awesome.
I'm also curious, like, what is the last lesson or wise thing that you learned recently? We're speaking about wisdom, but what is the last thing that you actually learned?
I don't really
remember
the last thing, but one thing comes to my mind when we talk about wisdom, and that is really action. You know. Just, you have the knowledge, you read all these books, you have all this information, but the real power in wisdom is applying it to your own life.
That's true.
And that is really the thing that is like, prevalent to me right now. It's like just start doing things, that that are wise. You're gonna have a car. Okay, save money for it. Know how to use it. Know how to invest in the right way so you can afford it. You know. So I'm really focused on getting that knowledge.
Yeah.
And applying it exactly. Yeah.
Applying the wisdom.
The last thing I learned about wisdom, or recently learned, that you said was funny, just do it, is also that the worst thing that you can do is not doing anything. So if you want to go for something, if it's whatever decision you want to make in life, the worst thing that you can do is actually not going for it. If you want to do a business, the worst thing is to
just
say
start.
It's not going to work out
Just
and
start.
this and that, and then you don't start at all.
Yes.
You say you want to go study, and then you say, "Oh, but I'm not smart enough for that. They will not
Exactly.
accept me." The worst thing that you can do is not going after them and saying, "This is who I am. I want to do this.
Yeah.
They told me before that I cannot reach it." If they say it, there are other ways. Go
Just
after it.
do
Just
it.
find a way and do it. The worst thing that you can do is
Nike.
just sitting down and say, "I'm not doing it because
Yeah.
I'm not good
Just
enough."
do it.
That's the worst thing. So just go and do it. I'll say.
Exactly.
So that's actually something that I consider wisdom that I learned, because it also helped me to foresee things for myself, to look on certain things like decision. Sometimes I know myself. For my business, I also need to communicate a lot. And though I can speak a lot, but I'm still sometimes really fearful. Kind of having communication with people that you're like, "Oh, this person looked really intimidating." And then you decide not to talk to that person. Well, actually, when you start a conversation, you find out the face may be looking really like a strict person.
Don't judge
and then the
them.
heart
Don't
is
judge.
just that sweet person,
Yeah.
Yes,
So
exactly.
the worst thing in my case is just to just kind of judge somebody based on their looks, and not taking the step to say, "I want to get to know you. I want to communicate with you."
Exactly.
So not to be fearful anymore, but just go ahead and do it. That's something
Just
I
do it.
definitely learned.
Yeah.
Like a lot of all the people that I learn from, for example, my parents are very wise
But they're not that
people.
old. Like I'm
Okay,
really
they're not
talking
that
about
old.
old gray hair, rich
Yeah.
people.
They don't necessarily have to be wise. Really, I've met some older people, with all respect, but they are not people that I think, wow, I'm gonna learn a lot from these people.
And have you ever met like good?
Yes, more than more than enough of people I've met like that. So
Old.
yeah, old people, but it are people that are old, but and you have smart ones, and you have ones that messed up a lot,
And learned.
and I believe you can learn from them. I want to learn from somebody that was successful. That's just the way it is.
I will personally say it's the way you look on it, by the way. And
Okay.
the reason I'm saying is that the person, even if the bad experience, it's on you what you're going to do and run with it,
Yeah.
So the wisdom start there. That person had a bad experience, and then you can learn from that and say, "I'm going to do after that person and get the same thing." But that's also not really wisdom, because you're like, "Okay, this is the outcome. Okay, I'll say it might not happen to you because it happened to the person, like I already said." But still, you can choose to go after that bad experience of that person, or you just say, "Okay, I learned from you also this, but I choose to go then the different path."
Exactly.
So I will say, maybe to all older people, I say I always can learn from them, no matter if they are considered smart or something like that.
Exactly. I
I
also
learned-
believe that you can learn from everyone, but if I have to choose to learn from somebody that was very successful in business, and somebody that always failed in business and gonna tell me, you should not do business because I failed at this and failed at that, and you have another person that says, hey, I was successful in this, and then I did this investment, and then I went to this course. I want to learn from that person that was successful, because he made some choices that were wise.
But besides that, look at this. I say I would that's good. You would learn from that person. It's amazing. But I would like to learn from the person that failed. And you know why I would like to learn from that person specifically?
Mistakes.
Because the mistake, they help me to just make other choices. Indeed.
Yes.
You know, a successful person can be there. They do what works for them. I realize in my business right now that it's good. I have so many people who book success. They have the tactic that works for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when I try it, it doesn't work for me.
Mm.
You know, so I need to find something that works for me.
Exactly.
And that's with everybody. So that person that failed, I would say for me, that would be the person that I would learn personally the most from.
Wow.
Because I would learn a lot from their bad experiences.
Yes.
They feel that they feel that they this and that. Because even if they're talking negative, they can speak negative. It's on me if I'm going to take their negativity and run with it, or it is from me to take their negativity and turn it into a positive change for myself. Like, okay, I'm not going to let that negativity affect me.
Yes.
Yeah.
The only thing I want to get from you is the lessons that I've learned, that this one failed, this tactic failed.
Yes.
And then I can maybe I can take that what failed for you and turn it to something else. You know, so if you used a specific way of talking to people,
Yeah.
maybe bashing people or just stalking people, just
Yeah.
spamming them, and you fail because of that, then I'll say, okay, this is something I will not do. You know?
Yeah.
So you
But maybe you start doing that and it works for you.
I think you can look at it from both ways. Like, yes, you can learn from those that failed. And if somebody warns you, it doesn't necessarily has to be bad.
No.
You know, because
Exactly.
warnings, we all need warnings.
Indeed.
Exactly.
Like, it's on doors, don't do this, otherwise,
Yeah.
like, it will explode. You know, we all need warnings.
Yeah.
So it's just the way you look at it. And actually, I don't look down upon old people or people with gray hair. It's now in, by the way.
Oh.
But like, no,
Yeah.
but I really would, because most of the time, because they look weaker and like are not into technology as we are, doesn't mean that they don't know anything. So I I admire actually listening to older people, their stories. Like, they also are raised in a very different time than we.
Generation.
They had a harder time. Like, if I'm thinking about old people, I'm talking about people who were the children, like the last children who were in like Second War, you know, here in the Netherlands. So like really that old.
No.
Hey. Yeah,
What's
that kind of oldness of people. And I think from every generation there's a lesson. You know, I also believe that in this generation there's a certain lesson and things that we learn. So
Exactly.
and things are repeating itself in time. So I don't think it's bad to look back and learn from those people, and we don't always have to like find a whole new solution, if you know what I'm saying, to something, because it's not something new. Nothing is new under the sun, the Bible says. So, you know.
Yeah.
So that's
something that the African says more than Nigerians say. I don't know. I think Igbo tribe says that what
Igbo?
an Igbo. It's a tribe in Africa, Nigeria, and they say what an elder sees sitting down, a young person, even if he climbed the highest Iroko tree, he cannot see it. So it's like, again, it's elder imparting wisdom to the young. With other words, they are saying what an elder foresee because of their life experiences. Even you as youth, as young as you are,
sometimes you don't see it.
You don't
Sometimes
see
you
it,
don't see those
but they are
things.
already forewarning you. And a lot of them are doing it because I love to watch a Nigerian movie and I learn from that. But specifically, you hear them talking to their young daughters, their young son, when it comes to marriage, when it comes to so many things. You know, what I see now, you do not see it. So they're giving you like, okay, you take it, what you're gonna do with it, it's on you.
It's
but I'm
your
already warning
choice.
you. And so this is why I love to talk with that older lady. She was talking to me.
How old was
down.
she actually?
She was 96 years old.
Wow.
So she passed on by now, but she was such a dear sweetheart.
Wow.
So yeah, I love to, when I work with them, I listen to all of them, you know. No matter how much you may think, okay, this one don't make sense, I listen to them. I love to listen to the elder
Yeah.
Me too.
They've been through so many things.
I always like to listen just to people in general, their stories, their experiences, because you can learn so much from it. And especially the people that are like older, they
Yeah.
have so much information that and so many things they experience that you didn't even know about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Like it's like when they talk, they go like back to that time, in which they lived and the hard times they went through,
Yeah.
and you can learn a lot from that.
Mhm.
Sometimes from their mistakes, and other times from their successes.
Indeed.
So there's always something new to learn from everybody, actually.
Yeah, you can learn from even children. Like, don't underestimate a child. Like, you can learn from every single
Yeah.
person. Yeah. Yeah, so what would be a verse or a quote? Like, I think we have a Bible verse that we could share.
Oh, find it quickly.
Is
I know. Oh, Ecclesiastes. In Dutch, it's called prediker.
Yes.
So it's I don't even know why they call it prediker. Because for me, I was thinking prediker. Then to translate it, it should be preacher.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, it should be.
And they call it Ecclesiastes.
Ecclesiastes. Yeah.
Ecclesiastes.
Ecclesiastes. So 9:16. Ecclesiastes 9:16 says.
That's like the core of our podcast.
Indeed. Then said I, wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard. So, guys, what do you think of that?
Wow.
Because it's amazing. The poor man's wisdom is despised,
Yeah,
and
the
his
last
words
part.
are not heard.
Wow.
The poor. Wow.
The poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words
Because
are not heard.
because I also read the text in the Bible was almost like referring to this. It's like there was a problem in a big city.
Mhm.
It was a story in the Bible,
Yeah.
but
And there was this poor man
yeah, and it was
that could save the city.
yeah, there's this poor man that could save the city, but nobody listened to him
Because he was
Poor.
poor.
because he was poor. He didn't had any influence or something, but he had the answer for the problem in that situation.
I like that wisdom doesn't discriminate.
I
or,
do.
Like
I
on
really do.
on what you are, like old, like young, poor, rich. It doesn't matter. Wisdom is for everybody.
You
like,
know?
but it's sad how we look at poor people sometimes. And,
Yeah, that's true.
so
You know,
want to learn from them.
This kind of make me think again of I think a while ago we were talking about something, and it's just giving an example like somebody who has wisdom but they are poor in the sense of money,
Yeah.
in the finances. But what do you consider poor? You know, because you can have somebody who has a lot of money
Mm-hmm.
but they don't have wisdom. Then you're either poor in wisdom or poor in finances. But
Oh.
and you have also people who choose that they don't want the finances because they have the wisdom like this is who I am. For example, I will give maybe from a religious perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have somebody who decide to give up their wealth because that wealth just kind of blinded them and just take them actually from the narrow path, take them from the path of the Lord. So they decide to give up when it comes to money. They say to have my freedom, to just be able to focus and think clearly. They give up everything and they become poor financially.
Mm-hmm.
But the knowledge and the wisdom is right there still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, guys.
Yeah.
I don't mean
I'm like, are you still in the screen? But you are.
I am.
Yeah, it's
I
just
am.
me.
Yes. So, when you have people like that, I like to just me. I'm somebody. I will take a something and just go sit next to somebody and just listen. That's who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, not necessary people with financial wealth have wisdom. Like I said already, somebody can have money and they don't even have anything in their brain.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody who don't have any financial wealth, but once you sit with that person, you're always learning. You're always kind of sitting in awe. Like, wow. You cannot stop talking to somebody like that.
True.
They always kind of
Yeah.
give you something.
And somebody that's poor also has been through a lot. So
Indeed.
you can learn a lot from them as well.
Indeed.
And I'm actually curious of the part like that it's better than strength. It's actually a good part to think about, because what do they mean with strength?
Yeah, I think that you can put strength in different forms. Like money can be a means to put in like influence, but money placed in the right places can be used wrongly. So that wisdom you can use to put the strength that you have, which is your money, in the right places. Or it can be like let's say influence that you have.
That's your strength.
Use it. Yeah, that's your strength. Use it wisely.
But without wisdom, it's nothing.
Yeah.
Or would I say power? Yeah.
Or power, it's nothing without wisdom. Yeah.
Exactly.
Your youth, it's nothing without wisdom.
Yeah, that's why we as youth learn from the elders, I would say.
Yeah.
And the young ones.
We are not experts, by the way. We're still learning. We don't always say the right things, but that's how we learn. I think also with talking a lot with people, you learn.
That's true.
Because you know how to remove what's not really true, or you see it from a different perspective, and that also opens your eyes to new knowledge, new wisdom. Yeah.
So guys,
thank you guys for listening, and thank you Jonathan and Suraisca, for having this discussion about what is wisdom. And next week we will be back with a new episode, and that will be called we're gonna talk about Generation Z and millennials.
Okay.
Because this is our target group, and we're gonna talk about these two generations.
Yes.
So guys, you are welcome to watch with us, to join us next week. As we discussed, if you have any questions or any points, please don't forget to put them in the comment section. If you'd ever want to, I'll say if you ever want to discuss something with us someday, also
if you have a topic,
also put it, you can send it through our inbox and our email. We're going to put our email in the description box. Also, don't forget to put it there. So guys, thank you so much for watching once again. And
peace.
We'll say bye for now.
Bye.